Let's talk about life, the ups and downs it throws at us while we pick ourselves up and learn to move forward, along with a little bit of sports and everyday talk added in. Let's dive deep. Hey, how's everybody doing? Hope you're all staying warm. It has been a cold one everywhere, especially up north. It has not been fun. Definitely has me missing those Florida temperatures. Got a little chilly in Florida, I did see, but it was 75 today down in the Tampa area where we used to be, and I would rather be there. If it had dipped down into the 40s or 30s, I don't care. That temperature last year and the year before, those cold days were the warmest we would hope for right now. And that would be a giant addition to what we're dealing with. It has not been fun. Temperatures have been frigid. Snow I saw in the area in Buffalo leading up to that football game. They had to postpone it because of the temperature, the weather that came in, the snow. They had volunteers showing up, fans showing up to help clear the stadium. That is wild. And I have not seen anything that bad sports-wise with the temperatures and how everything had played out. It was interesting to see. But man, these temperatures are rough. I really do feel bad for those who cannot be indoors. It's one thing in the summertime seeing, but this is being outside, just letting the dogs out, or going out and shoveling myself, clearing off the car, just any of it. It was one of those where, wow, I can't feel my fingers. I was out here for 2 minutes, and that was 2 minutes too long. Definitely dangerous weather, definitely no fun, and has me missing Florida incredibly when it comes to the comfort that is afforded by those warmer temperatures. So hopefully everybody was able to get past this cold front as it starts over the next couple days, slightly starts getting past it, swinging up in the temperatures and being in a better position. And it was so cold today driving into work that the wind chill hitting the windshield I have, along with the windows kind of fogging up slightly, so I turned the heat all the way up, and out of nowhere my windshield just cracks. Nothing hit it. It was so cold outside, and the hot air hitting there got too hot on the inside, too cold on the outside, and the windshield just gave up. So windshield cracked from straight across along the bottom, and then curved up on each side like a giant smiley face. So that was fun. But oh well, gotta roll with it. It happens. Gotta have an outlook that could have been worse. The windshield could have also taken a rock and shattered and fell in on me. So get to drive home with that. That's gonna be a fun one here. But that's just how cold it is. And today wasn't nearly as bad as it has been over the last couple of days, where the kids have had school called off on Friday and Monday due to the temperatures and weather conditions. And I don't remember having the cold days where we had to stay home. Everything when I was a kid, it was always the snow days, not cold days, not cold temperatures. That must be something to where, depending on the area or the school, I wonder if that's more or less based on, are the kids getting on a bus? If they're getting on a bus, then there's the liability of something happening from being picked up to getting taken to the school and dropped off. If it broke down, what are we going to do to make sure the kids aren't going to now get cold, get frozen? Hey, now we have backup. What are we going to do? That's the way I'm looking at it, because I remember being a kid where it was cold and you just were, hey, you got school today. You're in school. It is what it is. Big snow days where it's like, okay, it's going to be hard getting out of the door. You got a foot of snow. Crazy stuff. That's where I ran. And it was still few and far between. My entire life of school, there may have been like maybe 5 snow days that I've had. Maybe 5. That I can look back at and be like, oh, cool, no school today. That was it. And those were crazy days. I don't know. I think it's a soft society that really kind of plays into it as well. Oh, it's too cold. Dress warmer. And then this you're going to have an e-learning day, everybody. E-learning day. Wait, so I got to do my normal day, and now I got to teach my kids? So when do I get my check in the mail for doing your job? How about you either show up at school and do your job and teach the kids, or it's a snow day. I'm not going to now do your job. That to me is just still so it's mind-blowing. And I don't understand how they can still look at it. It's an e-learning day. Hey, here's this stuff. Go over this stuff and do this and have it turn it. No. You are the ones who chose to not have them come to school. So you do this when they get back to school. I didn't keep them home from school and have to now have them catch up. I didn't have, an unexcused day where now I have to pick up homework and no. You did. That was your choice due to inclement weather. Yes, it's cold, but guess what? It's life. So pick it up when you guys get back to school on Tuesday. All right, well, guess what? Tuesday it was canceled again. Well, guess what then? It's going to be Wednesday. So you're short, and it was going to be a half day anyway, Friday, and now you're talking about, all right, well, Tuesday we're doing another e-learning day. Why? I just don't understand the mindset of you do my job while I still get paid for it, and if you don't do it, your kid's not going to get the grade. It's going to go against your kid. Well, then give me your paycheck for doing your job that day. You make sure that day you don't get paid for it. You know, I don't know. It's just a crazy one. I don't know. I hope somebody else does. I hope you do. I don't. I don't understand the answer to that and the thought process regarding that. I just don't know. Hopefully you do. 2020 came, it's like the teachers all looked at it, it's like this is light bulbs all across the U.S. just went on over their heads. We get Christmas vacations and spring breaks and summers off. E-learning times make the parents do the work while we just sit there and, hey, you do the work while we still get the same paychecks, same pensions, same benefits. And then we want more for it because it's like, come on. Do your job. You chose your profession. You chose that route, knowing what it was going to be, and then complaining about, well, we have to deal with kids. We're under this. We're in this. We're in that. What? I mean, that's like a fucking firefighter complaining. At work, I don't know, man. I need some more sympathy here. I mean, it gets hot there, man. Like, you go into fire. It's like, whoa. Nobody told me. No, they know going in, they know the perks of the job along with the risk. They get the perks of, okay, 1 on, 2 off. They know how that plays out, to where they work a handful of days, where it plays out the year, they work far less actual days, but because they're 24 straight, but the risk that goes into it, same as police. They go out there, that's another thing that when people go onto it, like, oh, well, it's such a risky job. You chose that profession. You know what it's going to be. That's not like if I was dealing with electrical work, I'm not going to sit there and be like, hey man, I need some sympathy over here. I was doing this and the risk of getting zapped by this, I don't know. That person doesn't know. I know. I know doing that will then lock it out. That's part of your job. That's part of what I'm doing. I know that's what I'm getting paid for that. I knew that going into what I'm choosing to do. So now I want more because it's risky or what's involved. You got to stop looking for the sympathy for something you chose. You made that decision and then you want more for all of the things you knew going into it. That to me it's, as Ricky Bobby would say, mind-boggling. put your thoughts in a bottle. I don't get it sometimes. Where's the thought process? Where are you guys sitting there where you just don't think we think you sound crazy? And it drives me up the wall sometimes. It does. I don't mind doing stuff with the kid. I don't mind, again, if he's having an issue with homework, if any of the kids are sitting there, I'll do my best to know how I do it. Will this transition to something you can use? I think way off with a lot of stuff. I'm very difficult. I am a very visual learner. School for me sucked from as far back as I can remember, which sucks also for me because I have a photographic memory to where I can replay most of everything always in my head like a stupid movie, and I can literally replay it over and over in different things like I'm standing there watching it, and it's a pain in the ass. Except for the stuff I want to remember, like, hey, I'm reading something, I need to use this. Oh, okay, right back. And I'm like, well, but then stats and stupid stuff that means absolutely nothing, that I don't even give a shit about, all of it stays. Why is that there and all the rest of the stuff I want to know disappear? That's a different one. But going back to the way I learned, it was, if I wasn't fully interested in what was going on, then I didn't make the extra effort internally to try to grasp it. To where everything to me was like, I don't understand what's happening. And it was just, it all felt like I was being taught in a different language. I'm not dyslexic, I don't have any learning abilities. I just didn't, from the way it was being taught by, said teacher, I have a degree, reading it out of a book. It's like all you're doing is reading it and telling me this is how it's done. You don't know that much more how to do it. You're just doing it the way the book does. You're literally just reading it out of the book to me, telling me do it now. And then when you're grading stuff, that's not what it says. The book says this is the answer. Critically thinking was never taught. Being able to critically think, to figure out the problems in the correct way. Me, I was a visual person. I need to see it done. Why is it happening? What broke it down? And how? Otherwise, it just doesn't make sense. My brain just doesn't function correctly when it's like, okay, hey, here's how you do it. Here's what it is. Boom, boom. It's too simple. That doesn't make sense. How to get from that to that to that? It's too just, why do you got to do that stuff? And then sometimes if there's too many extra steps of unnecessary crap, why are all of these things here when the simplest point to get from point A to point B is literally point A to point B? Why do you got to come up with point A, point 1A, point 1A, sub A, all these different things to still get to the same answer? Or when you're trying to learn something, or just how any of it would go. Like learning, when I went to Spanish, I had no way to grasp any of it. Yeah, here and there, words over, I can hear certain words and understand what they are. Just after almost 40 years of hearing stuff, I can associate it, but that's how I do stuff. I associate with memory, and that's how tests work. I never did homework. I got F's in all of my homework and take homework and I would get A's on all my tests. Because I could remember what was being talked about. And I knew what the multiple choice was going to be. And or if I had to figure it out, what was the way that I remember this being done. Here. Okay, I know how to get to the answer. I still remember accounting class having to take tests in the hallway because, you sleep through every class. How do you get A's on the test? What do you do? Who are you cheating off of? How are you getting these? What's going on? What are you talking about? If I'm getting an A on the test, who else got an A? Well, you were one of 3 people with it. Who had the highest grade? Well, you and the one over here. He sits in the opposite side of the room as me. How did I cheat off her? How did I cheat off her if she sits way over there? I had the only test that high in my entire area. Well, you don't put your hand up. You don't join into the class. The discussion. You don't participate. You don't hand in any work. Okay. And you're cheating. You're cheating somehow. You would make me take the tests in the hallway. And I'd get 100 on the test. Okay, can I just stay out here then and be left alone? Can I just nap in the hallway then? Will you leave me alone? I come out here and nap? Because I don't care. I'm taking this class because it was a class I had to take, an elective to just check off the list. It didn't do anything. It didn't interest me. Certain classes did. I forgot what it was. I don't know if it was world history or what. Enstrom had the class, and he made it interesting. I forgot what the hell the class was. It was something to do with social studies or current events or history, something to do with that stuff. And he was a very kind of goofy guy, but he was fun. He was kind of a super teacher. He wanted to be by the rules with how you were. But he made class interesting and fun in the way he would do it instead of just read from the book and it's like this and like this. It was one of those engaging the students and trying to figure out, okay, well, what works best for each kid? Or are you picking up on this? Are you picking up on this? And it brought me in to want to learn more. And then I started to hear something. I was like, oh, that is interesting. I wonder more about that. What happened here? And then I would actually want to know and look into it. Like, oh, that is interesting. Holy cow, I want to know more about that now. I want to hear what happens in this. And I would actually sit there and actually pay attention because he invited you in and would make it interesting to talk and drag you in instead of just forcing you to listen and read the book and tell me what it is. Well, do you even really know, or are you just going off what the cheat sheet says with, the teacher's book? Everything's in the fucking side of the book. Everything's just right here. It's telling you what the answers should be and what you should bring up and what the plot points are. I got hit over the head with one of those books, and I still don't know how to use the word properly. Seen and saw. 6th grade, Miss Henahan hit me right over the head with the book because I kept messing it up, and she's like telling me what to say, but I thought she was being sarcastic with it, so I kept getting fucking flustered and then would get not know what to say and say the wrong one, so she actually got mad and hit me over the head with the book. Like, this is a little late on this. This is like 1996. I'm in 6th grade. Catholic schools, I thought, stopped doing this shit like 30 years ago. I didn't know you were still allowed to fucking whack me. It was funny, kids laughed, all that kind of stuff, but I still to this day don't know how to use that goddamn word. Seen and saw. Still don't know the right way to use it because of that. It's like a fucking stupid version of PTSD. Every time I go to use it, I'm like, wait, have seen, had saw, had seen, have seen. I don't know which one it is. God damn it. It still fucks me up. But it's just, with my kids, I know when it came to a lot of different stuff, learning is individual. When it comes to sports, a lot of stuff. Why do you never see the greatest athletes in their particular sports? Why are they never the best coaches? They can't teach you how to be great. But who are usually the best coaches? The very above average pros or average pros that had to learn all of the nuances to stick around. Because they have to learn and adapt from everybody around them in different ways instead of being the leader. Follow me, do what I say, and we're going to win. They had to figure out, okay, how do I fit in and still be productive to stay there? How do they get to do that? People like the Pat Rileys, you get to see the Phil Jacksons, you see even Steve Kerr. You see these type of guys and what they were. They weren't the superstars. These guys, yeah, they played in the league and won championships and did stuff. They weren't the Michael Jordans and the Wayne Gretzkys and these top tier players that were out there leading the way Those are the people that get behind the bench, or they don't know what the fuck to do, right? They know how to do it and lead and follow me. They don't know how to teach you how to do it. I grew up sucking at pretty much everything I've ever done. Shitty baseball player in Little League. I was more afraid to swing the bat than get hit by the ball, because I'm gonna strike out. So I'm not gonna hit the ball. So I'd rather get hit by the ball than swing at the ball, because I'm afraid to strike out. So that's the only way I would get on base, either walking or getting hit. And then even into basketball, okay, I'm going to practice basketball. I'm going to do it. Basketball's going to be my thing. My dad was really good at basketball. I'm going to be able to do this. Practice. I had the hoop in the yard, out there practicing. Didn't matter. I was just an okay player that was on a shit team. But I wasn't actually good enough to even start on a shit team. I just knew how to dribble the ball, pass the ball, and shoot the ball. I didn't do any of it exceptionally well. Until I got into high school and I started really looking at, well, apparently I was taught I don't have any rotation on my shot. How did no one ever tell me up until I'm 14 years old, when I shoot the ball doesn't spin. And then I can notice where the ball's going to be on a rebound, because I can tell well before it even gets to the rim, the angle it's taken and where it's probably going to hit on the rim and where angle it's going after that. Then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to be over here. I get the rebounds. I just was able to get shit tons of rebounds. Not taller than anybody. I'm over there. I'm like, I know where the ball's going to be. I just get the rebound, pass it up. I can get in front of you. That Dennis Rodman type thing. I loved how Dennis played. Great rebounder, great defender, run out there with energy. And that's kind of like, fuck it, I can do that. I'm not going to be the scorer. I can't do that shit. I can dribble all right. I can pass all right. Just can't shoot. You know, I'm not doing it. I don't know. You do? How do I fit in? So defense was going to be my thing. And I got talked into playing football my sophomore year. And I was so I went in high school 5'6", about 105 pounds. So sophomore year I was like 5'7", 5'8", 125 pounds. And that was it. That was the only sport that somehow started to make sense to me. I was good enough to immediately start for the sophomore team. Went out there, and everything to me was, okay, I got to learn. Everything, what can I do to learn? How do I get better to now take everything in visually that I'm seeing and apply it? I can't do anything about my height. Luckily, I grew a little bit more into my junior year, and then from there, but everything I ever did had to come with figuring things out and piecing it together and looking to build on my own. So I had to take a lot of different learning curves, a lot of different ways of thinking to bring it in. And it was the same thing even in school. I wasn't a smart kid. I wasn't when it came to academics. It just never sat with me. And the only reason I'm even good with numbers now, because numbers, are something that do make sense. The only reason why is when I was younger, I played, NBA Live, whatever. And to have good stats at the end of the game, because again, you could only play so much and it would only save a certain thing. You had a certain amount of what you could do to move forward, and I had to adapt each time I play. Okay, this worked last time, this didn't work. These players on the team worked, these players didn't. I'm trying to do this, or every time you had to start from scratch, because it's not like today where everything had like memory cards or built into an actual 500 gigabyte or 1 terabyte system. It was, okay, what's it going to save into the game? You click the things, you do your stuff, and you read it. You had to learn what to do and how to do it every time you sat down to make it worth it. And then to have a good season stat-wise, shoot free throws, field goal percentage, or three-point stuff. I had to learn, okay, I'm going 3 for 7. Okay, I was 3 for 7. That's not going to be that good of a day. All right, cool. Okay, I need to go, 5 for 7. I shot 71%. I learned fractions, and I learned all those type of things and what to do and how to break it down through video games. And that was something for me that helped me along when I then went back into math classes and when things, okay, we're learning this. I'm like, oh, I know that. I know to break that down now way quicker because of something that I had interest in that helped me then learn it. So then I understand too, having an approach to where you're helping your kids out, you can't just apply everything evenly. whether it's sports, school, anything. Each kid, everybody's an individual. They all have their own way to figure it out. They're going to take certain things you say, certain things you do, and it's going to make sense to them or apply to them way easier. I mean, even right now, I have 3 younger kids, and each one of them is so different, even though from top to bottom, they're 27 months apart. 27 months apart, and all 3 of them are so different when it comes to certain parts of their, what's the best way to put it? When it comes to certain parts of their, just their inner wiring. And Dean, the middle of the 3. Oh, Connor got 50 points from playing ABC Mouse, 50 tickets. Oh, he takes that to heart because he needs to feel like he has to have more tickets and more points to do better, or he lost it now he didn't do better. But if you knock his house down that he was building, or he was putting a track together, he just gets and he goes right back down there without even thinking about it, rebuilds it, redoes it, and he'll build it better. It's like he's the one that his training wheel got loose, went and found the ratchet and the socket set, went and got the proper one, grabbed it, and he was tightening it himself out of my tools. He thinks that way. Trains and trucks and all of that stuff is what he really just dives into. Connor, the one that's older than him, I think he's going to be more into more sports stuff. He likes basketball. He likes these type of things when it comes to basketball. And the way he can throw something, he's a little bit better at it. But baseball, he seemed to like baseball. We did t-ball stuff. But talking to him, he seems to grasp, okay, hey, you got to do it like this, Connor. Stand here. He seems, okay, I'm listening to you. I'm trying to find out what you're doing. And you say to Dean, he kind of just, okay, looks at you like, I don't give a shit. Are you done talking? I'm going to pick up the bat and I'll just swing it. I'm hitting a home run. I'm winging this thing. He just nods at you like, will you shut up? Can I pick this up? No, do it. He just doesn't want that. Tell me what to do. I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to figure it out. Connor's good at following the directions like that. Connor wants to follow the directions, wants to follow what you want. He wants to do that. How do I do it? Okay, I'm listening. Dean's like, yeah, shut up and get out of my way. I want to do it. Okay, do it like this. Dean, you do this. And he's just looking at you like, shut up. Unless it's with tools. Dean, do it like this. Then he look, oh, okay. Grab the screwdriver, do this. Okay, yeah, I know. Okay. And then he already hears it, sees it. He sees me doing it real quick and reaches out. I know what to do now. He's visual and takes it and brings it in certain things. He's good at certain things he's not right now. I think sports-wise, him in wrestling, I think will be good because he can already get behind Connor, who's well bigger than him. Gets behind him and can just pull him down and take him down with ease. Connor can literally lift Dean up and hold him like he's nothing. But Dean knows how to pull him down, and Dean has great balance. It's just, it's crazy as now the adults seeing that. I can see these things. I'm not pushing them towards anything. But then when it comes to the school, let's talk ourselves through it. What do you see? How do we break it down with how is your math going? Connor can read without an issue. I mean, he's great at reading. Dean's good with figuring out numbers, and he's getting really good with it. Connor's really good with math and numbers too. But then when each stage that they're getting to, well, how do we now get through this? You're having an issue. Let's not just do it the way I know how to do it, but what's going to work for you? Where are you at? What can I do to help you? And a lot of people don't really care to do that anymore. Very stick to the book. This is what the book says, and do it like this. Especially the Common Core. Don't even get me started. Common Core. The easiest way of being dumb. I don't. Why make it difficult? Do all of these extra things. Well, we got to make it. It's a common way to do the problems and break it down into extra stuff. So you're making it harder to understand. You're adding more steps to get to an answer that's much easier to get to if you break it down the way it was originally meant to, instead of adding more problems to an already given problem. It's crazy to see how everything keeps just sliding. It's just sliding downhill. And it just takes me back to the kids felt. Connor does like school, Dean doesn't. I think Connor in Florida had a better classroom feel than here. He likes school in both, but I feel when he came home, he enjoyed school and was more productive there than here. I don't know if it's just the weather. I don't know. I'm blaming the weather. That's what I'm blaming the weather. It's too iffy down here. All we had to worry about was there's a hurricane coming, and is it going to rain today for 5 minutes? If it was heading towards a really nice weather areas of Summer Senior, you're kind of going to be in the, it's going to be really hot today and it's going to rain. But the rain was, it could rain on my side of the street, not your side. And it'll rain for 5 minutes and be sunny. So that just takes you into the way you know, when you're thinking and how other people think and the individual. Everybody wants to do what's best for themselves, whether it is how the book tells you to teach. Because this is the answer, this is how they say to do it. I know, I was told this is how you do it. I was told this is how it's taught. According to who? Because the book says so? I learned from the book in my career, but the book didn't mean shit when you get in the real world. Yeah, it teaches you the principles, but it doesn't teach you the application. It doesn't teach you the situation you're in where it now needs to be figured out and put into play. And that's how the individual, I believe, in today's time, and it's not just today, but just even in the past, have really broken down. I mean, when you look at history, you look at today, you look at now. Everybody wants to play their own game, where you want to make your own rules, but everyone has to follow your rules of the game. But then you're going to continue to try to manipulate the rules to benefit yourself, as long as what you feel you believe is right. The ends will justify the means. And that way of thinking in history is why have some of the worst things that have happened when you look back throughout history. It was the breakdown of the individual. And during those certain areas and certain times when it had happened, what, were you just following orders, doing what you were told because you couldn't speak up? It sounds a lot like today. You turned a blind eye and you followed the orders. So you lied to yourself and you manipulated your own rules to fit in with what the society and the time is telling you is correct and what you have to do, because if you don't, you're now the enemy. Is this what you truly believe? Is this what you truly feel is right? Or are you doing it because you now don't want to be the one that's wrong? Because of the majority saying it, you follow along. And I think that's where the degeneration of the individual is really coming to a head. You want to continue to do what's best for yourself, and then that causes a bigger degeneration of society. Everybody lying to themselves, but then not admitting that they're lying. So then they lie to everybody else to manipulate it. Look at what you would do if it was an individual situation. If it was a game. If you're playing a game. Any sport you want to talk about, any board game, anything that's going on, you're going to do whatever you can do. Playing dice, playing shoots and ladders, playing, a game of basketball. You're going to try to draw a foul. You're going to try to flop a little bit. You're going to try to maneuver that dice to try to get that number you needed. Try to distract somebody so you can manipulate something to what benefits you. To cheat. To lie. But But hey, as long as no one sees it or they can't prove it, did you do something wrong? Because you're looking to benefit yourself. You're looking to do what's best for you. As long as they can't really prove it, they don't really see it, they don't really know. And we live in that kind of society now, where now it's magnified. Because now everybody gets... with social media putting everything in front of you that you want to find. So when people are able to do what you want to do, but you can't, whether it's buying a house you want, buying the type of car you want, you'll see these type of people who have something you want, and now you'll do what you now no longer like that person, you don't like, you're now jealous. Jealousy drives you. You're now driven by jealousy to bring you into hatred. It's the work of the devil. It's really what it is. It's throughout the history of time. Good versus evil, right versus wrong, God versus the devil. Well, you can look at it whichever way you feel, but deep down, it is from the beginning. Those who are in charge are the ones who got to the answer first. Whether it was by force, whether it was by knowledge, whether it was by sheer will, however they needed to get into power, they got there, then they dictated how it then went, good or bad. You can't sit there and let jealousy ruin you to slow you down and then point fingers of, well, look at what happened, look at them. What can you do? What can you do to better it? What can you do to be better? Don't just sit there and accept everything always. You can't just always accept it, then be upset, and then just be jealous and be naive in the fact that everyone's out against you, or it's not your fault, or, well, they cheated and this happened, and so I had nothing I could have done anyway. They would have still won. This would have still happened, or the system's based against me. That's not how you got to look at everything. If you as an individual can do whatever you need to do, but play within what are the rules that you set, that are common rules, that are true, that aren't going to be manipulated by society on what society is, what's woke and what I don't want to be the outcast. I thought the ones who used to be I don't want to go with what were the ones that the non-conformists. All of the non-conformists are now the conformists. The ones who used to be like, I'm not following what that is. That is now all of those people that were non-conformists are now the ones who are the woke non-conformist type people. We got to be like this. You only stay within your bubble. If something happens outside your bubble, they're either evil, or they're out to get you, or there's some type of ist or ism. Instead of, is there a conversation to be had? Is there a way to speak about something? Or is either think like me, act like me, have my beliefs, or you're wrong and evil? No. I'm gonna do what's right based on what's best, not what others think is best that I have to fit into because of it. I want to fit in, or I don't want to be an outcast. I don't care. I'm gonna do what's right because it is right, because that's what A, the law says is right, B, my faith says is right, and C, I believe is true and right. And if it all fits together and it all is going right, then I do. I don't know about you, but I know what I feel in my faith and in my person and in my country and in my spirit will be right, true. Even if it doesn't work, even if it takes long and I'm not making strides, I'm at least waking up every day playing by the same rules that are supposed to be played by. I believe in my own game. I'm not going to manipulate them or then talk myself up or blame everything or look for the attention or the sorrow. What good does that do? To be jealous and to be hateful or spiteful or just mean-spirited where you're overtaken by outside forces. Be a happy person. Be someone driven by goals that you set that are attainable through faith and determination. And whether you reach them or not, get up and try. Every day, try to be better than yesterday. And it's a society that we're in now that tries to deter you by TikTok and Instagram and all these different things thrown in your face. Look at these people getting on there, laughing, and look at this guy at the gym doing the weights weird. Why put that person out there like that? What good does that do? I follow Joey Swole, and he has great videos of calling the people out. And I came up as one of those not knowing what to do, trying to figure it out. No one helped me. Even when I was playing football and learning in the gym, you had a couple coaches showing you, okay, do a bench, do a squat, do a curl, do a shoulder press. They didn't teach you all the good stuff and the extra stuff and the extra forms of the other workouts and using these. We had bench press, we had a squat rack, and we had dumbbells. We didn't have shit. Other gyms now, every gym now you walk into has thousands of pieces of equipment you can use. Help the people. If they're doing it wrong or doing the wrong form or completely using the equipment incorrectly, don't put them on blast on the internet like a douche. Go over there, set your stuff down. Can I give you a quick pointer if you'd like? Can I just give you my 2 cents really quickly? And that person might be like, thank you. Like I have no idea what I'm doing right now. And it could mean the difference. Then the next time the person comes in, now they're going to feel that much more comfortable. Like, all right, people here aren't like here to judge me and fuck with me. They're here to possibly help me if I'm doing it wrong. It gives them a better outlook. You were a better person, and you helped make them a better person. But instead, today's society is about putting everybody on blast. Let's take people down instead of help build them up. What good is that as a society, as a neighbor next to you, as people that are out and doing the same stuff you are, but your only goal is I need likes on social media. I need new follows on social media. I know what to do. Let's make this guy the center of the laughs. Why do that? That to me is so uncalled for. And it's such a disgrace. And I'm glad that deep down, as much as I've done in my life, I have not been a saint by any means. I've done a lot of bad shit. I've hurt a lot of people. I've been in a lot of fights. My knuckles have touched lots of jaws. But I never walked away from it like, look what I did. I had that stupid, Irish Catholic guilt of whenever it was done, walking away like, I feel so shitty about that. Why did I do that? Even though the person deserved it, they may have started it, I jumped in to even help out a friend or help somebody else out, I still felt shitty afterwards, even though I shouldn't have. Sometimes I didn't need to. I still felt shitty. I've not been the best person. I've done lots of stupid shit. I've hurt lots of people. But I'm not even, when it comes to faith, again, like I said, I grew up Irish Catholic. I still am not Mr. Religion. I believe. I don't practice. There are parts of me and times with me where I'd like to dive back in and get a better grasp and take the time to maybe interpret it clearer, because there are so many variations to interpret when it comes to the Bible and the way to look. But I still have a faith of what it is to be good, because good versus evil, you can't be mean-spirited, envious, jealous, and think you're one of the good guys at the end of the day. And trust me, we have lots of those type of people that we deal with on a daily basis, or in our families, or that we're friends, or still are, that no matter what they do or how they do it, they project on social media that they're the nicest person or the best spouse or the greatest parent, and when the doors are closed and they're not on their social media, they are the biggest piece of shit that will ever be. But because it's not being captured and posted and proven out there on a daily basis, nobody but the interior side knows. But those are the types of people that will go out there and try to manipulate the most, because they will try to guide you by your fear and they know how to get in your head to help drag you into where they are, so they don't feel alone in who they are truly and what they are on a daily basis internally. They want to project who they are to you, and then when you join them, even if it's for a moment with them, and you say something or do something, they will turn around and use it to project. Look at, did you see what Dave was saying? Oh, you weren't, oh, Dave said this about that and that. They would have let all of it because then you agreed. That's you who said it. That's you who acted out. When it's them doing it, they need to be the center of the drama, but to not be the bad guy when it comes out. They need to point the finger elsewhere, like, no, look, did you see that? Nobody was a part of it. They now need to point the finger outward. Those people consume everyone around them, yet are never the perpetrators. They are always the victim in every sequence of every story that happens. It was never their fault. People are out to get them. They didn't do it. Someone came for them. Whatever it might be, nothing they did caused it or set it in motion. It was always some crazy fluke of someone's out to get me. And then they get the people around them to believe them because the emotional aspect kicks in instead of common sense. And just step back and be like, does that make sense? But people go, oh my God, I'm here for you. What? How? Why would that happen? They did. Why would they do that to you? So they draw people in. Oh my God, that person's such an asshole. Did you hear what they did to blah, 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 blah? Because people want to join in. They want to be able to hate instead of think and be like, no. I've been around that person, and I've been around you. I'm going to think for myself instead of letting emotions run with this. And I'll listen to you for a second, but I'm not gonna chime in. I'm gonna sit back, absorb, and let my common sense and how history, and does this even make sense that this would be a thing? Not to be manipulated by the manipulator. To then you're on the wrong side of it. Because now you're thinking like the person who has no real compass, who is on the wrong side of good and bad. But because of the way they act and they want all the happy smiles and, oh my God, look how cool I am. Look how much fun I am. Look how much I need the attention from you because I'm going to give you so much attention to make you feel good about yourself. Or they're like, oh, okay, this person mustn't be doing that stuff. Really? Take a deep breath. Be true to yourself. And be true to your neighbor. That's where we'll take a step forward. And let's just get out of this damn cold front. That, I think, also helps make people unhappy. We'll definitely be on some angry situations when all we're doing is huddled up due to the cold weather, bundled up in the house. But you know, the situation we all seem to be in, a lot of it's self-inflicted, and all that it takes, it's so stupid, but sometimes I've noticed lately it does work for me, is taking a deep breath and letting myself think for a second before I react off of impulse and aggression or anger or emotion. And is that going to solve or make the situation any better? No. So why the hell do it? Yes, I know I'm going to be overtaken by it, but every time I can, if I can minimize it and do it half the time, each time, and then the next time do it half the time from that, and half the time, I will be doing it 5% of the time instead of the 100%. Every little issue would make me lose my shit. That to me is moving forward. That to me is being a better father. To have my kids not see, hey, you got to react like a dumbass. Because I don't overreact. As you've heard, when Tara and I had our talk, I do not overreact. I react poorly. And I react poorly a lot. I've done a lot better over the last year plus. But I have to continually, mentally, every time, take that deep breath. And then focus on, okay, this is not what I want my kids to grow up thinking is what you're supposed to do. I'm making them programmed to reacting like assholes and never thinking. I need them to be better than me. That's my goal. I want them to be better. Not just more successful. I want them to just be better people. To give them the opportunity to be able to be good people, better people, clearer thinkers. So they can succeed in whatever they want to put their focus on. And not be easily distracted by stupid stuff like emotions and anger. So they can see me reacting better. Not reacting where I have and I'm arguing with Tara over something just unnecessary. To where they get to see more of the love and compassion that comes with being married, that comes with being a father, that comes with being a mother, that comes with in the household, to where that's what normal should be. That's what I want. I want that to be passed along. And it takes time. And sometimes it takes looking in the mirror and understanding what you're doing is not what's needed. And being able to take the blame so you can grow. You can't grow if it's never your fault and if you never do anything wrong. What points are you going to get better at if you're, no, I'm perfect. None of that's my fault. I didn't do that. No. How are you ever going to get better at anything? You're never going to work. You're never going to look to grow. It's always going to be someone else's fault. So I want everybody to have a great rest of the day, a great week. Hopefully it gets warmer. Says we're going to be getting some 30-degree weather coming up in the next few days. I really hope everybody can make it through this cold front. And I hope to talk to you guys again soon. Thank you all for diving deep. And we will be together again soon. Everybody, take care.